I'm surprised that Mauro understood what the fuck I was saying. It was crazy.
That's good.
So let's talk about ground game theory, which is a great fucking school.
Oh,
and it's been around for like a year, right?
We paid you to say that.
Yeah.
Up with that.
This is a paid promotion.
No, it's not. It's not paid.
As we all wear ground game theory shirts.
I thought I was going to be the only one, but...
Yeah. The owner's not going to wear the ground game theory shirt. Always representing, bro. This is my whole wardrobe, bro. This is all I have. This is all I have. I have no dress shirts, nothing.
These are in different colors?
It's just this
white and black.
That's it?
White and black. I honestly like wearing white and black to begin with, so it kind of works out. White shoes, black pants. Serial killer. For sure. Just basic, you know?
Yeah, that you don't have.
Minimalist, you know what I mean? Don't need too much to look good.
You were wearing that shirt when you did the karate.
Karate combat. Always represented. And at first,
they tried
the thing is, at first, they said, you have to flip it inside out. I didn't ask, but Mo did, the person that rep with me. He was wearing, I guess, one of his academy shirts, and they made him flip it out. But I made the right decision not ask. He asked. Like, what are we gonna wear? He's like, are you gonna give us? Well, they were so unprepared. They didn't give us
rookie
any shirts,
move.
karate combat shirts, nothing.
Yeah,
so
but you kind of.
I'd rather go out in this for sure.
That's smart, dude.
For sure.
That was sick.
With the gigantic logo on the back.
Yeah. That's smart.
It worked perfect.
You know, it's funny. Actually, I got a message from I won't say who, a B team guy who saw you on that, and they asked for a match at Karate Combat.
Oh, I know who this might be.
Yeah.
I know who this might be. But yeah, a lot of people want to.
But people recognize you as the point.
Yeah. I think it's a good. How do you guys feel about that? The walls when it comes to that.
I think it actually promotes a lot of action.
Yeah.
Because you can't play off it.
Right.
You're at a slant, so it's not really a good position.
And it'd be kind of weird to be on the side with your legs open.
You want to get out of there.
I think it's good on the feet because, usually people will be comfortable backing up out of bounds, running to the other mats and stuff. But with a pit, you do not want to be up against the edge because the second your heel touches the slant, you're tripping over. It's not like a wall. You can kind of sprawl against the wall. You're falling.
So you mean when they're doing standing, when they're doing
stand up work,
our constant resets, just like IBJJF, a lot of them just go out on purpose to get a reset.
True,
you can't do that.
You can't really go out of bounds, and you got to stay out of the edge. If you got to play the mat.
That you can't reset because if you take out that element of running from that changes the whole game. Like if you can get out and just run out of bounds.
And also, a lot of the times it's never reset in the exact same position, and that could lead to controversy and stuff like that. That's not worth it. You don't have to. It's easy for the ref. Dude, that was the easiest refing job I had. But I didn't have to do anything. I just had to look pretty,
Well, you actually kept running towards the
I
action.
didn't want to get double legged into. So every time he would try and do a blast up, I'd try to scurry out of the way.
But he would side shuffle into the action. They'd be running into one corner and he's trying to side shuffle away. He's
I'm trying to anticipate where they're gonna go, and I guess I missed the anticipation.
How hard is that to ref?
Dude, honestly, that was the hardest match I think it was going to be to ref that night. The bigger guys are going to be too slow. The girls is going to be a quick match. Honest, it was really good. I thought that was going to go just like that. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to ref this match. Last minute, they're like, they want me to ref the final match. You do this one. I went in there last second. I'm like, this is going to be the hardest match to ref. Wagner match. It's so hard to ref. But it wasn't bad. You know what?
Going back to the utility of the pit.
Right.
Someone from B team pointed it out, and this is after Craig hit his flying triangle on against the pit. That it's actually very easy to create those setups because you can get them to post a lot easier against the edge of the pit.
Because they have to.
Because they have to post against the pit, which opens them up to flying triangles. Which is essentially what happened.
That's what happened with
cool.
Phil Rovers.
I didn't catch that, but that was pretty cool. I saw the submission. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I think
and then Wagner kind of passed, not so much, but he kind of passed off the pit. He circled on the pit to get to north-south. He lowered his level and he passed.
That changes the game a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if you're against the wall and you're trying to pass.
And for fighting, it's really good too. At least it's been working for the last event. So that was a really fun event.
I like
you couldn't be there, unfortunately, but it was awesome.
Oh, you weren't at the house?
No, I was in Paris.
Oh, sorry.
Bro, too bad. I was just like,
dude, it was a sick event. Dude.
I really did miss out. That was a sick. No, we had a student compete. He won the Euros.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Big Dan. Shout out to Big Dan.
And the gi too.
In the gi? Oh, that's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
So you were in Paris.
All subs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How many matches did you have?
All by Titty Smother.
By Mother's Milk?
Mm-hmm.
I like how you changed the name there.
Titty Smother.
That's better.
That's better.
Cut that.
Cut that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the pit is an interesting new way to present jiu-jitsu, specifically for what you guys are saying. I like the fact that you can't disengage. You can't well, you can disengage, but you can't get out of that area. You know what I mean? And it kind of forces people to have to put up some sort of offense or some sort of defense. If not, what the fuck? You know, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I think that all like jiu-jitsu or grappling has been in the open format, and then having something that encloses you a little bit more that's not MMA, it's going to change the way that you do jiu-jitsu in certain aspects.
I mean, how many matches have you seen in IBJJF or New Breed or whatever where the matches either overflow or they're just fit? They actually run into each other.
Dude, especially in Miami. Like, oh wait, you're talking about the actual fights going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the crowd. I'm like, dude, everybody's there.
Oh, you know, ADCC. I mean, people they like run into the crowd the same way. You know.
Yeah, it's a give and
probably
take.
worse.
Give and take.
Wow,
I saw a video on ADCC YouTube. There's this guy. They're like fighting over someone's acai bowl and stuff. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
What?
This guy's food. I guess someone was eating food on the sideline. They ran into them and then they just started scrapping over the guy's food. Yeah. But for like New Breeds and IBJJF, even when there's no match going on next to the match and they go out of bounds, they'll still reset it. Even if the guy's like in a dominant position, they don't let it go.
Right. Like
there's no one there. Like who cares for now? If there was a match going on, yeah, reset it. But if there's no one there, then just let it continue and then reset it.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think what you guys are saying is that you guys don't like IBJJF or New Breed.
I haven't competed for IBJJF in a while. I would like to compete because
you guys are ADCC rule set then, guys.
I think that's the way the sport's heading. Yeah, ADCC rule
set. Was the karate combat like?
You know what? I mean, I'll just say like ADCC is the best we got. It's not my personal favorite.
It's not the best rule set too. It's confusing.
It definitely has interesting matches, but and everyone does. All the the good grapplers are doing it. So
yeah, that's like the Olympics.
Yeah, but there's a lot of little like nuances to the rule set that make it hard to.
It's not good for spectators.
I can't even touch on what to change on it because it's hard to make a perfect rule set. Honestly, there's always going to be some problem with it. Even with the invitationals that we've been running, I think that's honestly one of the best rule sets that we have. But the problem
it's like the fairest.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
it's one of the fairest ones.
The
rule set that we do is round robin, so everyone goes against each other. Okay, it's submission only.
I like that.
So whoever has the most subs out of the group of 6 wins. Okay, if you guys tie on subs, it's whoever has the least amount of match time. So whoever got the fastest subs. Now the only problem with that is that if someone gets injured,
right,
and not everyone's gone against that person, then it becomes like someone might just
you have to wipe them off the record.
You have to wipe them off completely.
Yeah. So like if you just sub this guy and then he can't continue. Now your sub doesn't count. You may have wasted a ton of energy, and you have to continue fighting.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so you guys maybe I understand. Are you guys doing it like it's a round robin? You just is it like a point system kind of that you're saying?
Well, the point system is subs. Sub is a point.
Sub or draw.
Okay. Yeah. You guys have done already 2 of those, right?
3.
We've done 3.
3.
Yeah. We did 2 at Ground Game Theory.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Academy, and then 1 at Wadapalooza.
How was that one?
The Wadapalooza one was awesome, man. The whole barricades were surrounded by people, like casuals that don't even watch, like weren't really exposed to jiu-jitsu, and people that are fans of jiu-jitsu.
That's awesome. You guys were able
to it's pretty cool, yeah. We got a good highlight video of that on our channel.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them.
With the drone shot and stuff, too. It was pretty cool.
I didn't see the drone shot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't think there was a drone shot in that, actually.
There was a drone shot in that. Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, like from the top of the mats. Like, very quick, like 2 seconds or something.
Yeah. But when you guys started Ground Game, right? You guys did absolutely no marketing, and you guys are, in my opinion, have blown up pretty quickly, right?
Well, our marketing was that before we opened up the gym, we would travel around to all these open mats and train with everyone around Miami, and we would post a ton of videos during the pandemic.
Right.
Because in 2020, there was nobody, there's like, now Instagram's saturated with this content, but you'd be surprised that in 2020, there was only a handful of guys posting jiu-jitsu techniques.
Right.
So when Keanoush and I did it, we started picking up speed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then everyone started doing it. Like we started doing it right before everyone started piling in, posting their own videos, whatever. And Keanoush and I got kind of burnt out by the time we started seeing that. Like the content was just kind of stale. We didn't try anything new.
Yeah.
It was mostly just aesthetic reels. Like we didn't really explain. We wouldn't even explain it. We would just show like a cool technique or a sequence. We were doing the gi back then, so we were showing like gi techniques. And people were eating it up. We would pay actually to promote it. This is before Reels. So this is how old this was. Like, so, I mean, 2020 was 4 years ago, but there was no Reels in 2020.
Yeah.
So we would pay to promote all these posts. And some of them would get, like hundreds of thousands of views because 1, we paid. And number 2, the content was good. But the problem was we got a ton of gay people trying to get us to make OnlyFans and stuff.
Wait. Hold on a second.
We get spammed with like gay boy comments.
Because there's like shirtless like.
Jiu-jitsu is a little.
You guys actually got. Let's say you're saying that people were.
Like they would flood the comments saying like gay comments that don't change.
Like, what is this gay porn on Instagram?
Okay. No, that's. I mean, that's. It's pretty crazy that you guys had that timing, and I guess that I don't know if you guys were thinking about that when you were making the content during the pandemic, that this was going to help you guys market your gym.
We were planning on opening up the gym at that time. Like we were just making videos. And
in fact, people would ask us all the time, like, "Oh, you plan on doing a gym?" And we were like, nah. We don't want to like mix our passion with our business. But
you didn't listen to them, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Thank God I didn't listen myself. Yeah. So no, eventually, because I was working as a research analyst. Keanoush is still a big time web developer.
Yeah.
But you know, that life was miserable, and I just needed to get the fuck out of that shit. Yeah. Oh, bro, yeah. I mean, I was staring at screens for like 10 hours a day, like writing super deep, like 40-page research reports, and like
it was a lot of work.
Dude, it was insane.
My job, if they're watching this, they're gonna find out a lot of things.
Nobody's watching this shit.
Yeah, sure. It was a very popular podcast.
Nobody from the county, bro.
So I barely even like, dude, I don't work that much. It's not a demanding job at all. That's the only reason I still have it. Like everyone around me questions if I even have a job, because I'm just like always like just at the gym or just like chilling, talking shit. I'm not even like working. Like I'm like on the clock when I'm like.
Cut that.
But yeah, so that's the only reason I have that stuff. But I've been with the county for almost like 5 years now. I'm a senior developer now. I'm big time now. So we can be lazy and stuff.
Well, that's great that you can train and have that full time job at the same time. Because you do the 6 a.m. class. Yeah. And sometimes I see at 12, but you also do a 7.
Yeah.
And do you roll in all those?
Huh? No, I do not roll on all those. That's not sustainable.
You can't roll in all the classes. You cannot roll in all the
classes.
classes.
I really save most of my rolls for the open mats. But I have to roll with my students. Like, I don't want to be that gym where you don't roll with your students. You just teach them. A lot of academies are like that. Like they never even roll with their professor. But I'm not trying to be like that. So I try and roll with everyone, especially the new guys.
Yeah, I know.
So they have. I know.
I felt it.
I mean, I don't understand why academy owners wouldn't do it either. Because if you roll with them and you defeat them as calmly and cool as possible, then they want to come to class more.
They're like, whoa,
damn, I want that.
If they do it the other way, like maybe they're scared of getting submitted by their students, which in that case, if they get submitted by students, aren't you doing a good job?
Yeah, actually, you're just not confident. If you're that worried about that, like against your new students, we actually, that is something that I want for my students to do. I want them to tap me. I want them to give me looks, like hard looks, and almost tap me and stuff. And it happens sometimes all the time. Like, it's like, I compliment them all the time when it happens. Yeah, like, please almost do it. It's a compliment to yourself. I mean, you're teaching them, and then they're applying those techniques on you. Like that's best case scenario, really.
Yeah, and it's working, right? Yeah. And they're catching you. They're legitimately catching you. That's the
best. Calm down. They want to.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta give a dog a bone. You gotta throw them some scraps.
But yeah, no, it's good, man.
No, but you guys have good competitors that got out and won some tournaments.
Yeah, we do.
We're building. That was not a black belt, just like beat a bunch of black belts recently.
Yeah. Chris Godoy. Yeah.
That was his first time competing.
That's the man.
That was his first time competing ever. He's a purple belt he started training, I don't even know where, Gracie Baja, then he went to Wagner's, and now he's been training with us for like the past, I don't know, half a year.
That's pretty impressive stuff for like on your resume as coaches. Yeah. That's pretty
and
impressive.
Dio today just competed.
Oh yeah, Dio
submitted everyone by footlock, and he's been with us since day one. In January 2023.
And he hasn't looked at jiu-jitsu at another school.
And he's obsessed with Z-locks. It's hilarious. This white belt is obsessed with Z-locks. Like, he finds an entry to that position from everywhere.
I would like to see another white belt that has hit a Z-lock in competition.
You probably won't find that.
He's probably the only one in the world.
They're probably confused.
He probably just broke a record.
Yeah. Z-lock is a pretty advanced technique.
First white belt.
So like, one of the things that I think that is interesting is that you guys have the capability that you guys have to get information and then relay that information to your students in a way that's very systematic and detailed. Not only that, but you also know what will happen if that certain detail isn't put in place.
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys get to that level of understanding?
That's the biggest thing, is the small details, right? Now, Carmichael was teaching people for free for like over a year, like years in his
for free.
Yeah.
Had to learn.
Pretty much, man.
That's the point.
So
it's not easy.
It's not easy at all. When I was first doing it, I was like intimidated. Like you get nervous and stuff too. Like you want to be confident when you're teaching. So that's why we study a lot of DVDs. And I honestly didn't even feel like I learned jiu-jitsu until I started studying the DVDs. Like, it felt like you were learning it for the first time. Like we had so many like we came to
It's actually so funny when we first started watching Danaher during the pandemic, actually in 2020. And we would watch his DVDs, and like there's so many parts where it's like, all right, you guys have probably seen this technique, and they're like, yeah, I've done that technique a million times. And it's like, well, it's commonly taught like this. This is a misconception, though. And we're like, oh fuck, and you would show us the right way. And it happened with like everything. Like every position that we thought we knew, it's like, oh, it's commonly taught this way, but it's wrong because X, Y, or Z. Instead, we do this because,
and it makes sense.
It really
makes sense.
And then you try, you're like, oh wow, it's quick fix. It's simpler, easier. Not sometimes it's not simpler, but a lot of times it's simpler.
And that's how you guys get the retention. Like that's how you guys get the information.
It's just that not a lot of people want to do that because it's so, dude. Their instructionals are so detailed and they repeat themselves a lot. It's like hard to sit through.
It's a lot.
It's kind of boring.
Here's the thing. To answer your question further, like this is an ongoing process that we do every day. You can never like just say, okay, I've seen enough. All right, now let's go in the room and train. It's like especially if you're a coach, you need to, if you care, you don't just want to, get clients and make money. And like, if you actually care about getting a good school, you need to study every single day, and you need to constantly iterate. Like usually when we teach a new concept or a new system, because like, the truth is sometimes we have to teach systems that we're not super familiar with because we're not in the business of teaching people what is our game only or what works for my body type and my personality and my strengths. It has to be relatable to all different body types. We have heavyweights, we have small guys, we have middleweights. So we got to kind of show them the different possibilities. And like maybe one possibility doesn't work for this guy, but the next one works. So we'll say like, this is an option, this, in the system, if your legs aren't long enough, we'll modify it for whatever it is. The point is not everyone can learn this just a super generic system, and you need to kind of adapt everything, and it's an ongoing process. We have a super deep database of just notes on every instructional we've broken down, and even on our own documents where we kind of like what I call mosaic theory, which like, let's say you want to learn arm bars, right? You could go and watch Gordon's DVD on arm bars, right? You can learn pretty well. But then if you want to take your knowledge on arm bars a step further, you'd watch Gordon, you'd watch Danaher's DVD on arm bar, you'd watch Craig's, you maybe watch some film on arm bars, and then you kind of come together with all the information you gather, and you try to find the truth between all that information, because everyone teaches things differently. You'll see Gordon do things that are completely contradictory to what Danaher says, and that's his instructor. So
so how do you know when you essentially say you find the truth? How do you know that? I guess it would vary by person what is true for one person, what's true for another.
Absolutely.
In terms of technique.
That's where it becomes an art.
Right. So you guys study it, and then that's when it becomes something. When you're able to, and you would have that information if you go through all those tapes and watch, I assume, competition tapes as well.
Absolutely.
The application of those arm bars. So what do you think is more beneficial? Do you think it depends on the person to go more over the instructionals or watching those and learning and studying those competition tapes? Like, what do you think is weighs more?
Well, it depends on what they're doing when they watch the instructionals. Like the way Carmichael does them and taught me how to do them, and all of our coaches actually do this. Like, if you want to be a coach at Gang Theory, you got to study content. You got to take notes the way we take notes. Cool. And the way he structures them is like very, very deep. Okay, like it's like a proper research analyst. Like, we have
it's like a research report.
You have breakdowns of each volume, video clips related to each thing. Highlight the most important concepts of each thing. It's very detailed.
Like if Danaher takes 10 minutes explaining a specific technique, there's a lot of repetition, a lot of kind of fat that you could trim. So I'll just cover the first principles, the fundamental truths that you can't really, the invariance of that position or that move, right? And then we really kind of try to build up from there.
That's cool.
Right?
That's really interesting. Like, and how long do you think it takes you guys to be able to study that type of information, those instructionals and those competition on a specific system, and then be able to relay it in the way that you guys do in your classes? It's pretty phenomenal how you guys are able to. Iteration.
I mean, like a lot of people can't stand to watch Danaher DVDs or Gordon DVDs because they speak so monotonous, and the content is a lot of repetition and stuff. Like it's it's really, I just try to understand it as best as I can. I rewatch, I take those notes, and then I just try to look at it. I'm like, okay, how can I boil this down as simply as possible? No, this is what I do every day. I look at a 10-minute Danaher DVD, a 10-minute Danaher section, and I'm like, all right, that was pretty complicated. My students are retarded. So
cut that.
cut that. How do I make that simpler?
It's all right.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough battle. And sometimes I'll show up to class and I'll explain things, and I think it's gonna come out perfectly. Like it makes perfect sense in my head, and it goes over everyone's head. I'm like, I just explained it in here's option A, here's option B, here's the system.
See, I've seen that face before.
Yeah.
I think it was the arm bar. You're like, this motherfucker.
I'm like, any questions? Everyone got it?
And then they give you the black guys.
Nothing. We're good. All right, 1, 2, 3, and then everyone's just fucking dick in hands.
Thing is, like, for example, Gordon's DVDs. If you watch any of his DVDs, his ook is always his girlfriend, which is this tiny girl.
Oh, so
so you have to really actually test the techniques to see if you can apply them.
Also, there's an element of you guys of actually drilling those techniques.
Yeah, we have to. Honestly, a lot of the times, like we're like, especially if there's a big guy who they'll be like, I'm not flexible enough for this. It's not gonna work.
Have you seen Gordon's DVDs?
Yeah. Everything
he does on that tiny female.
Yeah.
It looks so weird.
The half guard one that he was in, I was studying that one, like trying to get better at half guard. And then he's like, oh, you just push the arm over and then like get into like under the legs or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try that. Somebody my size, I'm like, this isn't fucking
yeah, exactly.
No, I can't. And so I think that's and I think Giancarlo's doing the same thing. He's doing with his girlfriend.
Yeah, so we have to know how to explain what in that situation when they're like, oh, if this doesn't work, what do you do? Because that happens a lot, like almost all the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but you guys always
we have to have an answer. It's not really stressful, but it's stress to the point where we want to know as much as we can on that position, so we have an answer if they have a question about it.
Right.
Because it's the worst when we don't want to regurgitate what we're learning in the instruction of word for word.
Right.
We want to be able to explain to it, because sometimes they leave out core details too. They do, and they rip it out. And they do some certain things, and they leave out core details that they're doing that they're not explaining that would make the technique work or not.
Right. Yeah, and you guys are pretty good at explaining those details. And I think if there's times that you maybe not know the answer, but you guys workshop it there.
Almost everything we learn from there, we have to add our own stuff to our own twist it, because we'll try it. We'll try it a lot, and it won't work for whatever reason. The way that it's explained, and usually it's because a key detail is left out, like Keanoush just said. So like, you know, maybe, you know, we're talking about like, you know, front headlock strangles, and Danaher brings his head across, you know, does a center line shift from head to one shoulder to the other. Right. But when he does it, he doesn't explain that his chin goes over the front side of the shoulder. He doesn't go ear to shoulder. Maybe that's the detail that makes it work, you know, versus something that doesn't.
I would never catch anything like that.
But the only reason why we catch it is because we'll see it, we'll take notes on it, we'll screen record it, we'll try it, and it's not working. Because we'll try it, we'll drill it a little bit together, and then we'll try live with some resistance. We'll workshop it. Maybe we'll try it against our students, and if it's not working against you know, a white belt, it's probably not going to work against a black belt.
Right, that makes sense.
You know,
so it's kind of good that you guys are roommates, right?
No, not anymore.
You were, but when you were studying
for like 3 years,
So that's great. That's also like helped you guys progress with that, being able to train all the time, especially.
Dude, for a while, the frat house, man, we had.
The pandemic.
Well, always in the casita in the back, there's always a jiu-jitsu living there.
Oh yeah, Cade. I've Cade, world champion, brown belt. Well, not black belt. Right? Yeah. He's living at my parents' house.
You guys got another one for the gi now.
What? Well,
class,
world champion, right?
Yeah. Tommy.
Yeah. I want to go that class.
Tommy Rodriguez. He's a G. He's a G.
But back to what I was saying about the training room. Like, we would wake up in the morning, plunge, train. It was amazing.
Oh, you guys
honestly. It was we had the same plunge that we have in the gym at Team Soul.
Oh, a nice one.
Same thing.
Did I have
like
one
you
that's
buy a chest
ice,
freezer.
that's fucking annoying.
Yeah, that ends up costing a long run too, buying all that ice.
I use my freezer.
You freeze the
to
bottles?
Make I like freeze stuff. And
you
sometimes
freeze water
you get used
bottles?
to it. Like you get used to it. Now it's like.
I haven't plunged in a while, honestly, so I can't really talk too much about the plunge.
It's just traumatizing.
My students are
How cold do you guys go?
It's not even that cold, bro. I'm just a pussy.
We used to go pretty cold. We used to go down to the low 30s. When we would do it every day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Keanoush once did what, like 10 minutes at 35?
And the problem is like I
32.
I clenched my fist the whole time. And when I got out, it was so painful, dude. I felt like my fucking dick was gonna fall off. I was running. I was putting water on top of my hands to like fucking make them warm, and it was just hurting.
Yeah, but you stayed cold for a long time.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing. I needed to be like very relaxed in there. You cannot be tense in there. And now I kind of understand why people bring their hands out sometimes. I was like, damn, at least not.
Every time we're there, we're fucking like shoving hands in the water, like pushing people's shoulders. And you're like, nah, that's cheating. That's cheating.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people jump in there and hop right out.
Hop right out.
Jump right out, make a mess.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So you guys, what's the plan for you guys for when it comes to grounding? Like, are you guys? Because I know you guys have an MMA class. You have that extensive no-gi program as well. You're starting with the gi now. It's once a week. Are you guys planning to turn this into like? What's the goal? What is it that you? What do you see the future for you guys?
Well, I think for Keanoush and I, our focus is always going to be on sport no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's a business, and
right.
Like martial arts sells.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we want to be able to offer high quality martial arts in every program. So we're not just going to start, hiring people for karate, and we're we want to find good instructors that match our passion. Right. Which is hard to find, even in the no-gi jiu-jitsu world, and we know a ton of people. But like I said, Keanoush and I spent every day. What is that shit? So Keanoush and I spend every day, studying a little bit, taking deep notes, workshopping the stuff. Like that stuff takes a lot of time, and we want any instructor, regardless of which martial art it's going to be, to teach with that same energy. Right. So you guys are thinking about like kind of consolidating martial arts into your program. Ultimately, we don't have enough mat space for all of that. So for now, until we get it,
it's going to be eventually the next step.
You guys have a good place right now. It's really nice.
The parking, the location, everything's great. It's really Saturdays, for example, today, like, man, it's a really popular open mat, no-gi open mat. So,
how many people do you have going to your open mat?
Dude, every time it's 20 to 30 people. And they're
obviously from different schools.
From different schools, yeah. A lot of
and the room's not that big, so 20, 30 people.
They can't all roll at the same time.
Right.
So you have to sit out.
We can have like 7, max 8 rolls, but 7's pushing it at a time.
So you have
14 people, and they're not standing either.
Yeah. So you guys just seated
it's the thing. Like you have 8 people rolling that they can't stand. You're gonna bump into someone immediately and reset. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and that's the problem. And now we used to have wrestling Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. like just straight wrestling class. And now we're incorporating it into the jiu-jitsu classes because a lot of the jiu-jitsu guys aren't coming to the wrestling classes. We need them to learn wrestling. So,
tricking them.
So and now that we've added more classes and they're spread kind of thinner, we can actually wrestle pretty safely.
I like the wrestling class.
Especially the 7 p.m. The 12 p.m. took a lot out of the 7 p.m. class. Because the 7 p.m. class used to have like over 20 people.
At least both of them could wrestle now.
But now they can both wrestle. So and 12 p.m. is a really good time to train. Every time I train that time, I feel great afterwards.
Yeah, that's always a good time.
Yeah. Like at 6:30 a.m., it's a good time to wake up and start your day. But I don't feel like rolling. Like I don't really feel like rolling. By 12, I feel like rolling for sure. By nighttime, even then, by nighttime it's kind of like that's another 12 hours after the first set. I'm too tired to roll.
I prefer the morning classes, but I have a newborn now, so it's not like.
You have one now?
I have a newborn baby.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna let you host to see if you can. Control it.
He'll probably crush that thing.
Well, after when you do this. So yeah, I like training in the morning because I think that's such a dude. If I get a good training in the morning, I'm fucking dead afterwards, and like working after that.
Well, what time are you training in the mornings?
I train with you in the morning.
At 6:30 a.m.
Well, I had it.
Well, you used to maybe long back in the day.
Now we're 12 p.m. I don't know.
He thought you would play along. So yeah, I see you every morning.
Like, where you at?
No. But the 12 p.m. is good, but dude, sometimes the wrestling is tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
that
lot.
format is definitely tiring.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the thing is that you don't think it's gonna take out too much, but what I've noticed like standing, in judo too, like judo, it's like the standing is much more tiring than doing like a jiu-jitsu class, and it's because it's like more explosive. It's more.
Where did you do judo?
In Puerto Rico and in Hialeah in Budo Camp.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you got a little judo.
It looks like I'm playing judo. Yeah, I did judo for a while, but.
How did that translate to no-gi?
Not very well.
No.
Not for me because I do like a lot of ripping and tiles. Like I can get somebody off me. They have like the double unders. I can get a tile, but I land on my back.
Because you try and throw them with the double unders. You've done that to me before. You landed like.
I tried to throw you with double unders.
Yeah, like a little hip toss.
No. I landed on my face when I went for like a really bad double, And I face planted. It wasn't any hip tosses.
Oh, I don't know. I remember you trying to hip toss me one time, but I haven't. It's been a while.
You just want to talk shit about how you got on the hip
No,
toss?
you hip tossed me pretty nasty actually, but you land. It wasn't a good landing.
No, it's not, dude. That's the thing about you. Like when you get thrown,
you can land wherever. Like you could. That's what I love about judokas that come to jiu-jitsu and they don't fully adapt it,
right?
Because they could throw you and they add so much power and momentum to that.
Right.
You just roll them through, you end up on top. You know, in their sport they win. In our sport,
dude, what happens to me? Well, what used to it still happens. Sometimes I'll get a nice throw and it looks good. And since in judo, like it stops there, I kind of admire the throw and I don't realize that the fight's
just
over.
let go of everything.
I just throw like, wow, that was great. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Just effortless. I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting choked. What the fuck? That happens a lot. So yeah, mine was very lapel focused. And it doesn't translate over because like it's hard to think about a certain throw instead of a lapel. You kind of have to get an underhook or a wizard depending on the size of the person, and that translation it doesn't click as quickly. And I find myself not finding the grips that I need and setting up for the setup of the throw. What does translate are the foot sweeps.
The foot sweeps are the way to go. Honestly, I'm not very good at them, but they're so sick.
Yeah, the timing of the foot sweeps are great.
And they're so energy efficient too.
Yeah.
It's almost like a jab. Let me just fucking.
Yeah, but a lot of people that don't know how to do will kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You get shin kicked.
A lot of big kicks I see in competition for sure.
That's terrible.
Poor Lyle. My bad, Lyle. I kicked your leg a lot when I was practicing foot sweeps.
You have a wrestling background. Right?
Yeah, wrestling.
Did you wrestle at Columbus?
I wrestled for 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, there's no foot sweeps, right?
I mean, you can foot sweep, but the shoes make it so difficult.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't even think about
So
that.
grippy, yeah. So then when I went to jiu-jitsu, that's when I started practicing it. I was leg kicking the shit out of everyone.
It is what it is.
How was wrestling in Columbus like? It's tough, right?
Jesus Christ.
What happened?
It's just fucking like the most insane, like senile. I had the most insane senile coach.
Yeah.
So like, the practices are great, but then he would just come in because he was the head coach,
right? And
our assistant coach would actually coach us.
Okay.
So he'd be running practice, and the head coach would come in just fucking angry, screaming at everyone, fucking punching kids and shit. Like,
relate trauma. I'm relating trauma here.
Dude, yeah, no. I remember one time I was we were getting ready for a dual meet, so we were gonna wrestle another team that was coming to Columbus.
Yeah.
And they check you for, which they should do in jiu-jitsu. I don't know why they don't do this shit, but they check your whole body for skin infections.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I don't know why they don't do that.
They say it in the rules, but that's it.
They never check your ass. But in wrestling, they look at your whole body. They look at your nails. I mean, so then, they don't really do that shit. Maybe
check
I
your
could
sleeves.
No, but IBJF doesn't have to check your skin. They just check.
Yeah, but they say in their rules like you cannot have skin infections and stuff. Obviously, point blank.
Yeah.
In the hygiene section, all of them, new breed, all those they do. They never check.
Have you seen them do it in the no-gi?
I've seen them doing an IBJJF where they check the nails, but I've never seen them check the skin.
They just check nails and sleeves, but they tell you in the rules, obviously, not to have it. And you would think it's like, I'm not going to compete if I have staff, but I've seen it so many times. Like at the Jiu-Jitsu World League at Orlando, bro, this guy had a huge staph infection on his neck. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not in that guy's division, dude. Holy shit.
I would call him out. I would be like, this guy's got blatant staph.
Hey, this guy.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I was before this dual meet, I was clipping my nails.
Uh-huh.
And I was over the trash can, and at this moment, I think some people were cutting weight in the actual wrestling room, so they're doing wrestling drills and shit. And then our old senile coach comes out, and he starts screaming at some of the JV guys, and then the whole room goes silent because everyone's fucking. You just hear shoes screeching on the floor, like people grappling and shit. And the whole room goes silent because they're all paying attention to the coach, fucking screaming at this one kid, and then you just hear. I'm right behind him, like clipping my nails.
He slowly turns.
He slowly turns around and he just redirects all of his anger towards me. He just punches me in the chest.
What? Dude, that's so. Oh my god.
I was like, fuck, dude.
Well, did you finish clipping your nails at least? You're like,
yeah, I think I just left the room, bro. I'm like, I'm just do this outside.
We're not important right now. We're not important.
He's just like raging at someone, and Carmichael's just like.
The thing is, he did it so often, bro.
I'd be cracking up so hard, and then he'd come after me. Like, there's no way. I wish I wrestled though. I never did any of that.
Imagine, bro. This guy, I wish I wrestled. Fucking guard is crazy.
Yeah, but I want a bigger wrestler.
He doesn't give himself enough credit.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
he's a decent
wrestling is way harder sport than like
I think
any
it's more
sport.
physically
Bro.
demanding.
Any sport. It's very physically demanding.
That's
My
also
back
why
hurts just standing
the
there.
sport dies out much younger. Like people stop wrestling at a younger age than they
Really?
stop doing jujitsu. I mean, you can pull guard, bro.
Yeah.
Just pull guard.
Yeah, I think if it works.
You're old, pull guard.
I like wrestling and ankle picking from bottom.
Yeah, because you have these
There
long
you
ass fucking arms.
Yeah, ankle pick all
You
day.
don't have to
Bro.
fucking bend over. You can just grab
Ankle
a
pick
sand.
all day, dude. Just head over toes.
Yeah, that shit works like gold.
Energy
You get the
efficient.
pass right off though.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. No, I don't know. Like I think that wrestling is probably the best sport if you're coming into jiu-jitsu as a newbie to have.
For sure.
Like judo's good.
For sure.
If you're gonna do gi, but if you're doing any sport to come in, that's probably the best one to have.
Probably any combat
I
sport.
think outside of the actual takedowns you get from wrestling, it just teaches you how to scramble. Like really, like when you're scrimmage wrestling and you're in a random fucking position, you have to think quickly.
Right.
It's not very clear what position you're in.
Yeah.
And just find a way to score, find a good position from there.
Yeah, getting a takedown is good, but the few seconds after the takedown happens, where you start scrambling and stuff, that's like really
Yeah.
important. That's where submissions
Well,
happen.
cancels.
That's where everything happens right there.
In the scramble, you make a
Yeah,
mistake.
so you got to
Yeah,
make sure you
yeah,
take them down and you land in a good dominant position.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where people start going on the offense. Either
Yeah.
front headlock.
Yeah, how many wrestlers have you put down onto their
Triangles.
butt and then they just start fighting for their lives,
Yeah.
sticking up their
Yeah,
feet?
for sure.
Like, I don't know if
It's
you're
impossible to keep them down.
Yeah, man.
It's so, yeah, I'm like, I'm just going to play bottom. This guy's trying so hard, taking a lot of energy to get up, but at least he's spending a lot of energy trying to get back up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well,
But
you
like-
flip that, you get a good wrestler. It's like passing, that pressure passing.
Like Dorian from B Team. Well, not from B Team, but he trains at B Team a lot. He just won the trials at
From Team Olivares.
East or West Coast.
East Coast, yeah.
Well,
West
East
Coast
Coast trials.
is in like 3
He
weeks, 4
beat
weeks.
Ethan Carlston
Oh wait.
in the
Yeah.
finals, I think it was.
No, I think it was like the semis.
Semis,
he
right? In
fought
the semifinals. He fought Dominic.
Dominic
Oh, I
Mejia.
think I saw that. Yeah.
He's
yeah.
like a 17-year-old kid that just wrestled like his whole life, and he just super
Yo, and
dominant.
Dominic actually took it to him with the wrestling.
He did
too.
take him
That
down.
was-
He did take
That
him
was
down.
impressive.
Ant had a really impressive match.
Got
with him. Actually,
balls.
now looking back at how he won trials and stuff, Ant had he was doing good the whole match, and he got stopped like last 30 seconds.
Yeah, he was getting on his
But he had a
legs
bunch of
and
leg
shit.
entries on him, backside 50 and stuff. But that guy's tough, man. He doesn't stop moving.
Yeah.
He
absolutely.
doesn't stop moving.
And
Yeah,
Ant
yeah.
just moved to B team too.
What happened?
He just moved to Austin. He's training with B team.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
That's gonna be good for
we lost the coach.
Shout out Anson Kaku, the boy.
him.
Is there-
Oh yeah, he's. I think it was there before you left. Right before you left, we were doing that the arm bar.
Yeah. I think he
That
did
was
one of his
fucking
clients.
sick,
Yeah.
dude. He wasn't even breathing hard. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I think I can get out of this.
He's a funky boy.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It was a crazy like.
He's calmed down a
situation.
lot over the years.
What do you mean? He was more aggressive
No, he was even more wacky before.
in terms of jiu-jitsu.
In terms of everything, man. The guy is just a wacky ass dude.
So one of the things I want to talk about was like I think I was having a conversation with you in terms of level of jiu-jitsu, particularly in Miami. Right?
Mhm.
I thought that the level of jiu-jitsu was pretty good in terms of other places, including like New York, California. Well, California's probably the peak, right?
Well, it was. but
It was probably
Maybe
Austin.
Austin now.
Okay. and
I mean, it
Austin-
depends what you
I mean,
determine. What do you call
AOJ's
the peak? Like
in
the
Cali.
gi peak, or like
That's
there's
a
probably
good
better
question,
gi
man.
academies in
Well, yeah, I would say,
California than nogi.
And I
It's
think that we
no
have to
geese.
separate the argument, like
It's two different sports, right?
Right,
At
right.
this point.
so, like if you're saying gi, I guess it would be California.
Probably
Yeah.
California. They got
Austin,
AOJ,
yeah.
Atos. They got a bunch
yeah,
of.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, California.
And then I don't know what are the gi schools in Austin.
I don't know. All I know is
Or in
no
Texas.
schools. I know they got the
I just know
Hackett
got-
brothers over there.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
Fight
They got
Factory. They
New
got
Wave,
B Team,
B Team.
Those are the top two ones.
Definitely the best three.
and then Fight
three
Factory is
schools
number
there.
3 probably.
But AOJ's
And they also have the
program is insane.
Henzo Gracie Austin
Which Vergara I think teaches that.
and
Right,
Donner.
and the gi.
And
Yeah.
Donner. Yeah.
So what makes you think that? I guess we're gonna talk about Nogi, right? So like, what makes you think that the level of Miami isn't up there, and do you think that there's a future for Miami's athletes or the sport of Nogi to grow into something that's as big as Austin or as big as California, maybe whatever? Do you think that there's something that needs to be done in order to change that?
I mean, it's hard to say, like exactly, where Miami stands in terms of its quality of jiu-jitsu compared to other states. What I can say is that like whenever I would go to, travel around to either just on vacation or maybe I'm going to a tournament, I try to drop into gyms like all the time
Yeah.
to cross train. And you'd be surprised, like fucking, third world countries, like random holes in the walls. They have some decent jujitsu. A lot of them just like watch instructionals all day, and they have like some good like gym warriors.
Yeah.
So like I'll compare those experiences, those like one-off experiences. Like, oh, I went to Mexico. I trained at this one gym, or I went to California. I trained at one or two gyms. Yeah, I trained in Mexico. I trained in like Italy. I trained in.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. I travel around and train as much as whenever I travel, as over the past like decade, I always try to drop into one gym.
Yes, that's dope, dude.
And there's a lot of bullshit everywhere, but ultimately, I would say Miami doesn't have bad jiu-jitsu, but it doesn't have great jiu-jitsu. And you can just look at the number of star jiu-jitsu athletes that come out of it. There's not many, and I could just tell just by like me cross training a lot throughout Miami, like there's not that much competition, because I'm not like world class level. Like I probably wouldn't qualify to ADCC, but then again, I'll go to all these open mats, and there's very few people that can give me like really good work.
Yeah. And you think it's the number of people that are training over there that makes them better, or do you think it's the way that they're structured?
It's the quality
of the program.
It's part of the quality of the program.
Shit, I don't know.
The quality of the program.
I would say, yeah.
Also, I can say like in Miami, like no one wants to compete unless they're at the intermediate level and above. It's like very few people want to compete.
I was trying to get teams for the invitation I'm trying to put on. And you guys immediately go, yeah, and then Mortales automatically with soft agreement. Like they said, oh, okay, we're gonna go. But getting the other two teams has been a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I've been ghosted.
Yeah.
Hard, which kind of makes sense too, because it's the first one I'm putting on. So maybe it's because I don't have a name behind it. That people are they'll look at it and they don't even think about it. They just put it to one side. But luckily we have somebody from Fight Sports, Deerfield Beach, I think, that's gonna help us put something together.
Yeah.
So it should be good. But that's right, man. A lot of people are trying to compete. Especially here in Miami.
Yeah.
They're not willing to, I don't know if they're not willing to put it on the line, or they're not willing to, maybe it's more business. They're so worried about saving their name and their brand, they're not willing to put their team on the mats, but it's been crazy. Yeah.
Another thing about Miami is that I feel like it's more gi focused, and it has been for a long time. So when I'm speaking about like Miami Jiu-Jitsu, I'm talking really about the no-gi scene. I stopped doing gi jiu-jitsu in 2020, so I kind of.
Why did you guys stop doing the gi? What was it that you just like?
Because you do have to, well, Keanoush wanted to stop like forever ago.
I was kind of forced to though.
He was at a,
wait, you wanted to kick a long time ago?
I stopped the gi a long time ago.
Yeah.
I stopped the gi like 2017.
Wow.
But that's because the gym I was training at didn't offer gi.
Yeah, so
I just dropped it. I dropped it, and it was fun. So just kept going with that.
So why do you stay with? Why do you?
Well, I was trying to convince him for the longest time to put on the gi, and like the reason every time I would try to give him, he'd ask why. I'd be like, because whatever bullshit reason I've been told before, it's tradition. Like it helps you with defense. It's more technical somehow. I don't even know what that means, but things like that. And then after a while, I'm like, man, I'm talking so much bullshit. I don't even believe this bullshit.
Was there a moment that you were like, this is bullshit?
Yeah. There was a moment where I was just like, what am I holding on to? Like I've been doing gi jiu-jitsu for like 7 years, but and I focused on gi jiu-jitsu, not no gi jiu-jitsu, coming from a no gi background. And I was like, why did I do so much gi jiu-jitsu? I'm like, number one, because nobody really offered no gi like I would have wanted it. I was kind of against the gi at the beginning.
Right.
Everyone convinced me with their brainwashing tactics that I needed to do the gi to do jiu-jitsu somehow or whatever, or to be good. I don't really understand. But I was just convinced without the good reasoning. And I realized that the reasoning why I was doing it was based off, House of Cards. It was all bullshit.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, now I have to make a decision. Do I continue to divert my knowledge retention into two different areas? Because like you're in one position in the gi, you're exposing your heel, which is great because you're not going to get heel hooked, but in no gi you're getting fucked. So you're constantly playing between this balance, and you're learning two different sports. So or I could focus on one, and the sport was trending in a more no gi focused way. So I just decided, I'm like, why would I waste more time and energy on the gi? Even though I love it. I mean, I just love grappling. I love the gi. The gi's fun. But I would love no gi as much, especially if I just focused on it.
I think that's the best way to do it, man. I think if you're gonna do one, like you gotta focus on on that pathway because it's growing at such an exponential rate that you're not gonna like. It's kind of weird to be a master at both. Except, I mean, Mano made a good point that if you have a style that transfers over well, that's well.
I mean, you can mitigate like the amount of differences, but there's always going to be differences.
Yeah, and those differences are growing.
Yeah,
you just don't want to get left behind.
Yeah,
like a lot of gi guys are way behind in like the leg lock game, for example. Like you shouldn't be a black belt getting submitted by a white belt that spent like a month learning leg locks. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that easy just because it's 50% of the body that's making more.
Yeah, we have our white belts who have been training for a year with us and haven't really trained anywhere else, and they submit black belts that come through. It's not because they have better skills than these black belts. It's because like they just have better skills in one specific position. Yeah, and if they could get them in that position, they could tap them. Like this.
What do you guys think about the argument that's like that? There's this argument out there, and
who makes this argument before we get into this argument?
I mean, I don't know what makes sense. I just read it, but it made sense to me in the sense that when you have people that are starting off to focus on leg locks, right? Their passing is going to be left behind. Do you think that makes sense?
Their passing is going to be left behind, or
like their ability to pass, because
they're going
to result.
So when you teach, that's why we try to make sure that they have a well-rounded game and they use leg locks to set other things up. Because a lot of the times, leg locks is what is the starting.
You think the leg locks get them past? Or
no, you're saying like they don't focus on passing,
right? So like, do you think that learning the leg lock game and
limit their passing,
limit their ability to pass?
There's cases of that.
I see a lot of people that just get comfortable in the training room, just like they stop not about learning to pass, well maybe a little bit, but mostly like they just care less about getting swept. It's like they'll be passing and then they'll just grab a leg and they'll sit back. The guy will come up. Yeah, and it's like, okay, whatever, I'm on your legs now, but they've just swept themselves. And that's what a lot of people early on start. Yeah, like, okay, I discovered legs.
Yes.
Fuck passing. Why am I not spend energy trying to pass this guy's leg? Like, I just grab it and fall back.
Yeah, I guess it's what you were saying, that you have to get them more right. You have to get them to a point that they're able to pass well and they're able to leg lock. They're able to leg lock as well. Because in reality, they work in combination, no? Like the passing and the leg lock, it's a combination of things. Like if you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way I see it is like you like a good passing system incorporates loose passing, tight passing, and then the legs as like a way to attack the whole body. So like, let's say I'm, in a Toriano pass or hip and knee post, and they're pressing away at you super hard. Like you have the decision to either, continue going in towards the resistance, or maybe you could transition. Maybe you could just grab a leg and sit back on it. Yeah. Since they're so focused on defending the upper body pass, like the cranial shift, trying to grab their head. Right. They're going to not be so focused on the legs, and that's a good opportunity to sit back on it. So, but it depends on the rule set too. Right. Like if it's IBJJF and you don't want to get scored on, like probably not the best move.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess the conclusion would be like you have to train them together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be something that
it has to be contextual because, like I said, every rule set's different. Yeah. Some rule set doesn't make sense.
You have a question, dude?
Yeah, I do have a question. I wanted to talk about something in my head. No, but I'm just stretching. But I sit down way too much than I should. But the biggest mistake white belts make when they first get introduced to leg locks is if they do it against other white belts that don't train it, most of our white belt students, they go into competition just straight ankle lock everyone. Because at white belt, you don't really get exposed to leg locks in traditional schools. Like when I first started training, I didn't know what single leg X was. I never got taught straight ankle lock. It was kind of like don't attack the legs.
Yeah.
Even straight ankle locks.
Yeah, I didn't see single leg X in my first.
Even straight ankle locks. This was 2014, 2015.
Or Ashi.
Even single leg X, Ashi. Yeah.
Like going into if they're going into single leg.
Yeah, just that. I never saw that as a white belt at my school, and I feel like a lot of schools are like that, traditional gi schools. Yeah, so our students go to competition, they just put them in the Ashi, and they don't even know to peel the foot. They don't know anything. Right. They just get subbed.
That makes sense.
The biggest mistake white belts make when they first learn it is they'll try and, like you say, instead of patching the guard, they'll drop down on the leg. Yeah. Any good guy's just going to time that and come up on you and then peel the foot, and now you're in a shape. Yeah. So that's the biggest mistake people make. They just time it and they come up with it because it's very predictable when they do that.
And they're doing it since white belt. They're going to, like, if you guys haven't learned it since white belt, they're going to be able to see that coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the good point. Like, I agree with the point that you have to be teaching leg locks early.
Well, our take on it is that it's more unsafe to not know anything about it, right? If you don't know, like, how to churn, like which way to churn, like the most basic is just which way to churn. If someone puts you in a leg lock, it's gonna be a problem. You'll break your own foot. Even if someone holds it, because we have a rule, we don't crank submissions. We'll hold it for 3 seconds. If you didn't tap here, you should know that. I could just pop my hips and break it. Right? But if they, on their own corner, like, oh, what do I do? And they just explode the wrong way, then you just tore your own leg, right?
I think you guys go over that
We stress that a
Yeah.
lot.
You guys
We've had no leg lock injuries over the year we've been open, and we teach them to white belt all the way to black belt.
That's probably the best way to do it too.
Yeah,
Like make sure
definitely.
they know the dangers of this type of system.
And honestly, at a white belt level, I feel like it's like cheat code, man. Like it's almost like I look at our students do. I'm like, it's not fair. Like they'll go in 30 seconds just training lockdown. Like they don't know what to do most of the time. Now some schools are doing it a lot.
I think it's
white
starting
belt.
to happen now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more
But
more
still,
now.
there's so many that are left behind.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier in the podcast, like there's a lot of schools that they're still collecting a paycheck. They don't need to focus on
Right.
updating their knowledge. They still have people walking in. Oh, Jiu-Jitsu Academy. What is Jiu-Jitsu? Here, take my money.
Right. They're not.
Oh, I got to
updating-
buy a gi, whatever. Like they don't need to have the best quality. Not everyone's most people are not trying to be competitors. It's usually
Right, no.
general population.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a lot of
No,
that.
that's
A lot
true.
of people that just don't want to, they don't care to. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're sitting easy. They don't want to. You know, they want
They
to.
also, a lot of them don't know the like difference. Like someone from a school like that will come try one class at our gym, and we'll tell them like a simple detail, like something that they should have known as a white belt.
Yeah.
Something that we didn't know as a white belt. Also, like there's
Right.
a lot of things that I learned even today where I'm like, oh my god, that's so simple. Why did I not know that till brown
Right.
belt? And they'll take that little detail or that little class, and they'll be like, wow, feels like I'm actually learning jiu-jitsu. Like I feel like
Right.
I'm actually progressing. That's why we've gotten so many people joining from other gyms. It's not like we're poaching them or anything. It just
No.
happens naturally, word of mouth.
So you guys get in trouble with that? You guys didn't start shit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't start shit. We don't
Yeah.
start shit.
We get in trouble for not turning away business.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
people come to us like, "Yeah, we want to learn jiu-jitsu." Like, all right,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I
For
mean,
sure.
if you should be proud of your product and let your product be the way that it needs to be, and
Yeah.
it grows. Like I think it's also a pride thing when it comes to people that don't want to update the software. Kind of look at it that way. Like when it comes to technique, it's like,
Mhm.
well, I think I know everything,
yeah,
and that's sad to see. Like it's people they think like jiu-jitsu is always about how can you not update your software?
Yeah.
How can you not teach the new things? How can you not go the
Yeah.
extra mile for your students?
yeah.
You know
Or
what I mean?
laziness, or it's easy to just teach the same.
In the long run, it's a hindrance, no?
And
Yeah,
another
for sure.
point on the leg lock stuff outside of safety, it's just if you want to be good at jiu-jitsu, you need to be able to attack the whole body. Like if I'm just attacking arm locks over and over, or front headlock strangles or
Right.
whatever the fuck it is, upper body submissions,
Mhm.
like posture, you could posture out of most of those things.
Right.
And not only that, like if I fail once, like you know, elephant in the room, I'm trying to attack your upper body.
Right.
If you have no lower body options to at least threaten,
Right.
it's going to be hard to make the upper body stuff work,
Yeah,
and
you gotta
vice
take the
versa.
dilemma.
Yeah, same thing. Like if I'm standing and I want to off balance you, I can't just push you to off balance you.
Right.
I can't just pull you to off balance you. It's a push pull dynamic,
Right.
and that's the only way it's going to work at the highest level.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So, like, I guess my next question, or like the next thing I want to ask is, you guys have the academy, you have the invitational,
Mhm.
right? Is there something that you guys want to accomplish in the future that's away from those two things? Like in terms of, in terms of
He
like,
knows.
He knows.
in terms of athlete development. Relax, guys.
There's something
So like,
gigantic.
so like, if you guys are talking, I'm talking about your school, like your academy. Are you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
planning on creating like a competition team that you guys are gonna fully focus on that, or do you guys are stressing on
Yeah, I
letting
think
anybody do what they want and one wants to compete or one doesn't?
I think it's going to take, given that we've been open for a year and some change, and like, the first few months we had a lot of people come and go. Like I
Right.
think that's natural.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But over time we've gotten all, like not all, but like we got a lot of like people that are going to be here, not permanently, but at least for a very guaranteed going to be here for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's going to take like 4 years
That's
realistically to make a good training room.
Right.
And I think that's and that doesn't mean we're not going to have good guys before 4 years.
No,
But
yeah,
I'm talking
of course.
about like where everyone is, not everyone, but the majority of people in there are competent.
Right.
We have a lot of people that have been here with us for 4 years straight,
Right.
because the way that we teach, it's kind of overwhelming at times, and there's no real shortcuts in jiu-jitsu. Like there are things you can do to hack your growth a little bit, but
Like
overall,
what thing? Sorry.
well, like one thing is like, a lot of people like to amass techniques. Like, okay, here's a cool technique, here's a cool technique, here's a cool technique. And then when it comes time to use those techniques, they don't have any like order of operations. They don't have any like, okay, here's my option A, here's my option B, here's my option C. Like, option A, assuming this guy's a scrub, he's giving you naive reactions, you just finish them with your easiest option, so on and so forth. They don't systemize things. And I think a big one, and this is easier said than done, people focus on the techniques, but they don't really focus on learning and understanding key concepts, the first principles. So like, let's say, all right, snap downs, right? If I want to snap you, they're really like, I don't want to just use my hands. I want to use my hands and movement, right? So I'll snap you and I'll circle my feet. And in conjunction with the movement and the snap, that's going to help off balance you.
Right.
But then let's say you're in a stagger stance, one foot is in front of the other, right? Snapping to the left is going to give me a different reaction from you than snapping to the right.
Right.
Just naturally by your stance. So like just understanding that, okay, if your right leg is forward, on your right side, you have a partial base. But because you have nothing to the left side, there's no base on that side. If I circled and snapped you away from your lead leg, it's going to be easier to get your hands to the mat than if I circled and snapped you towards your lead leg.
That makes sense.
Right. So, I mean, that's probably hard to visualize, on a podcast.
Yeah,
but
I'm visualizing it now. I'm like, okay.
All right. But that's my point of like understanding a key concept rather than just like, okay, grab the head, hand goes here, arm goes here, you pull and technique works.
Right.
It's like, you got to understand the why behind the technique.
Yeah, a lot of the times you can tell when you're teaching it to one of your students and you can tell they're trying to memorize left hand, right hand.
Yeah.
You see it in their head.
Absolutely, bro. Still like, oh,
it's way more intuitive if they know what they're trying to accomplish. And another way to hack your growth, obviously, that a lot of people don't do is recording your rolls. That's huge. Dude, people wait till they compete, right? They wait till they compete and they're like, oh, I want to watch my footage. You're in the gym rolling every day making the same mistakes. You can adjust those mistakes before you compete just by recording yourself.
You know, guys, whenever you record yourself, don't you feel like you look a little awkward? Or is it just me?
We encourage it, man.
No,
you know, like yourself, when you watch yourself, you're like, watching yourself.
I hate watching myself roll.
I love watching myself roll. Yeah. I find so many things that I don't even know I do, just muscle memory things that I do.
Yeah.
That I can't like explain it and break it down to someone else.
You don't cringe a little bit. You don't go like, fucking, oh, I look weird.
When I'm rolling?
No, when you're recording yourself and you're rewatching.
Oh, well, the thing is, we got the
security
we don't have to set up any cameras.
We don't have any of that awkward
we got that 24/7
like, oh, I hit a 6 sub. I got my security cam app.
To the point where students are constantly asking, yo, can I get the footage?
Yeah, but you know,
that's annoying.
That's pretty good marketing too, man.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Having that footage is good.
That's great.
Yeah, but then we're in this weird place where it's like, you want to follow the B team route where you post yourself like styling on your students.
Yeah, you gotta have
people
like
that come by. Or
we don't
you want to.
Yeah,
we try to like be careful with what we post.
Just post some cool stuff.
Yeah,
like buggy shows.
I just try to post funny stuff. Like if I catch a bullshit sub or yeah, like if I sub Gabriel Garcia, shout out my boy. If I sub Gabriel with a standing head and arm strangle, then I'm definitely posting that. Yeah, because it's such bullshit. It'll never work ever in another situation.
And how does Gabriel feel about that?
He loves it.
Oh, okay.
He would tell you that too.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for coming. It was great.
Hey,
good conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys come back when we pop on and get more people.
Of course, that was fast.
Just remember us when you pop off.
Was it out?
Yeah. Remember the little people.
Little people.
Thank you, brother. Good stuff.
Cut that.